Rise, Meg.
The Force will be with you.
Always.
Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Star Wars Meg, here to provide you with all of the news from a galaxy far, far away, and as always to provide you with a Mandalorian Season 2 update. This is the way, and this is the week that we received Chapter 10, Episode 2 of Season 2. I could not be more hyped, and I'm sure you guys are really excited as well. Before I get into the news update, please may I ask you to hit like down below, to subscribe to my channel if you're brand new, and also hit the notification bell to be alerted every time I post a new video. You can expect daily Star Wars updates from me. But without too much jibber jabber, let's get into the news. Now we will be speaking about the child and how he will talk in the show, but before we get into that one, let's talk about Gor Koresh. So this is a great article and it's called The Mandalorian Season 2, Who Plays Gor Koresh? The Mandalorian Season 2's premiere, Chapter 9, The Marshal, introduces an unscrupulous underworld crime boss called Gor Koresh. While his one-eyed face is certainly distinctive, it's not one that audiences will have seen elsewhere, but they might recognize the actor who plays him, John Leguizamo. The Mandalorian Season 2 kicks off with Din Djarin and the child visiting an underground fight club, probably somewhere on Lothal. Inside, Gor Koresh sits ringside while two Gamorreans battle it out, wearing a comb-over and some elegant attire for the event. Din Djarin inquires about where he can find other Mandalorians, as they'll be able to help him deliver the child back to the Jedi Order. However, Mando's underground contact refuses to cooperate. As it turns out, Gor Koresh never planned to help the Mandalorian, and instead attempts to take his extremely valuable Beskar armor. While most of us have already seen Chapter 9 and need no more introducing to this character, Disney Plus streamers may be surprised to learn that the ill-fated Abizin character is voiced by Hollywood veteran John Leguizamo, whose other voice acting accomplishments include Sid the Sloth from the Ice Age movie franchise. Leguizamo delivered a breakthrough performance as PFC Antonio Diaz in the 1989 film Casualties of War, and subsequently landed high-profile gigs in Die Hard 2 and Carlito's Way. Now, I was very surprised when I found out that he was the one voicing Gor Koresh. I thought it may have been Jon Favreau or Mark Hamill, because these two were rumoured to have voice acting roles in Season 2. But knowing it's being voiced by him is really cool, because Ice Age has a really warm place in my heart. So now we move on to Baby Yoda, the child, and talking about how he will talk when he does eventually speak in the show. So it originates with this article that I found by Bustle, and it's called Everything We Do and Don't Know About Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian. They go through some really cool things, which I've already spoken about 1,000,001 times here on my channel, so I'm going to spare you that. And we're just going to move to the section which is called Will Baby Yoda Speak Like Yoda? And they write, Yoda's backwards way of talking is one of his most famous characteristics. And Yoda's puppeteer Frank Oz told the BBC in 2011 that it's a cultural marker of their species. According to Inverse, Yaddle also spoke similarly in the non-canonical comics. If the child is raised by Mando or even Ahsoka Tano, does that mean he'll sound like a Mandalorian or Ahsoka herself? He's already 50 years old and still talks in gibberish baby language, so it's possible we'll never hear Baby Yoda talk on The Mandalorian, but it's still an amusing prospect to think about. Now this is where I disagree. That last little bit, we probably will get to hear him speak eventually, and this was hinted at by Taika Waititi back in March during a tweet. So the question is, will the linguistics pattern in the child be similar to that of Yoda and Yaddle, because they are the only two other Yoda species that we know of in the Star Wars universe? So Inverse actually wrote an article about this a long time ago, and it's called Linguistics Show Yoda Talks Like a Wise Altruist. So the article is a really good one, and it will give us insight into theorizing how Baby Yoda will speak. So let me read it to you now, or at least the excerpts that are relevant. Yoda's signature backward speech in Star Wars is goofy, but it still gives the character gravitas. Linguist Elaine Espindola can not only confirm this, but also explains why. Her work shows that the Jedi Master's speech patterns are specific to certain attitudes about one's place in the universe. Yoda's syntactic singularity is apparently an outgrowth of the same inner calm that makes him such an effective warrior. Espindola believes that Yoda's speech is crazy, but crazy like a very kind fox. She states, certain structures arise from Yoda's perception, which he brings to the Force by placing the element he wants to emphasize in initial positions for specific contextual motivation. Espindola explained this to Inverse. She goes on to state, a simple illustration will do to make this point. Learn you will, says Yoda, when he wants to foreground the Jedi's learning process. These configurations emerge in Yoda's spoken discourse, and are central to the construct of his identity. Essentially, Yoda talks the way he does on purpose to specifically get his point across faster and presumably to help his students connect with the Force efficiently. When Yoda says to Luke, "Clear your mind of questions," this isn't phrased in his backwards speech. But if Espindola is correct, it's still consistent with his goals. He wants the word clear at the forefront of the sentence. In the Star Wars films, the only other member of the Yoda species that we ever see is Yaddle, a Jedi serving on the Council in The Phantom Menace. Yaddle never speaks in the film, but in several non-canonical comic books published by Dark Horse, Yaddle talks with the same distinct speech patterns as Yoda. So if we take Yaddle's speech as proof, then Yoda's speech patterns might be somewhat cultural. Still, Yaddle was about half Yoda's age and trained under him, so maybe she was just biting on his style. Now, while that is the opinion of a linguist studying the language, I really do think that we need to take Frank Oz's words a little bit more seriously. And he told the BBC in 2011, Yoda is one of the last real old Jedi. He asserted this, though the Empire Strikes Back screenplay by Lucas and Kasdan was the kernel for the idea of Yoda speak. Oz himself was the one that made it what it was. He stated, not unlike Native Americans, Yoda is trying to keep the culture, the old culture, and that is the way they originally spoke. So we have to ask the question, was Yoda speaking like the old Jedi, or like something that all of his species speak? In other words, do all the Yoda species speak like that, or was Yoda emulating something that he had heard from his master? Now, it's really central to ask this question when speculating how the child will talk in either The Mandalorian Season 2 or in later seasons, because if it is from influence, then he's probably just going to speak like Din Djarin or Ahsoka if she ends up mentoring him. However, if there's a biological aspect to this, such as the positioning of the larynx or whatever else, it could be the only way that the Yoda species can physically get their words out. But we just have to wait and see, as I say with all of these things to do with speculating aspects of the show itself. And so finally, we're going to speak about R5-D4, who made a really cool cameo in episode 1 of season 2. So this is from Screen Rant, and they write, "The Mandalorian season 2 confirms R5-D4 survived A New Hope." The Mandalorian Season 2 premiere has brought back a familiar droid. R5 is a red and white astromech droid that first appeared in 1977's A New Hope. The film introduced the droid as one of many in the possession of Jawas on Tatooine at the time when they captured C-3PO and R2-D2. Owen Lars originally was going to buy R5 instead of R2, but R5 sabotaged his chance for freedom on purpose to help R2-D2. But thanks to Chapter 9, it's confirmed that he did survive the original Star Wars film. The first episode of the season sees Pedro Pascal's character and Baby Yoda go back to Tatooine in search of a fellow Mandalorian. He seeks out the help of a Season 1 friend, Peli Motto, who shows him a map of Tatooine and calls over an R5 unit for help. The red and white droid is now confirmed to be R5-D4, as there is damage on top from his bad motivator. This isn't the first time that R5 has been linked to The Mandalorian. Series creator Jon Favreau, who directed the Season 2 premiere, previously shared an image of the droid on social media. An R5 unit was even featured in The Mandalorian Season 1 Episode 5 in the Mos Eisley Cantina, but it was unclear at the time if it was R5-D4. With this exclusive new look at the droid, there is no doubt that R5 has now found work on Mos Eisley as one of Peli Motto's droids. The burn marks and oil markings serve as a constant reminder of the sacrifice R5 made to help R2-D2, the Rebellion, and ultimately the galaxy. So that is all the news I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please give me a big fat like, subscribe to my channel if you're new, and also please consider becoming a patron of mine on Patreon so that I can keep coming back here every day to give you the news. So the link is in the description, and I'm wishing you a fantastic rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.